Are you a first home buyer in Australia and unsure of the benefits available to you? Look no further. In this video, we'll explore all the government grants and benefits available to first home buyers in Australia in 2023. We'll cover various grants and benefits such as the First Home Loan Deposit Scheme, First Home Guarantee Scheme, First Homeowner Grant, stamp duty exemption and concessions, and the Victorian Homebuyer Fund. We will provide detailed calculations based on our $650,000 home in New South Wales so you can understand how much you can save on your first home purchase. Now, before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification button, and let's go. Okay, the First Home Loan Deposit Scheme, FHLDS. What a mouthful.
You do.
The First Home Deposit Scheme is a government initiative designed to assist first home buyers in purchasing their first property by providing a guarantee that allows eligible borrowers to purchase a home with a deposit as little as 5% of the property's purchase price. Under the FHLDS scheme, the government acts as a guarantor, providing eligible borrowers with a guarantee of up to 15% of the property's value, effectively allowing first home buyers to avoid paying lenders' mortgage insurance. To be eligible for the FHLDS, you must be an Australian citizen or a permanent resident and a first home buyer. The purchase price of the property must be under the cap for your location, which in New South Wales is currently at $800,000. For example, on a $650,000 home, a first home buyer could potentially save over $17,000 by not having to pay mortgage insurance, assuming they have a deposit of 5%. Now let's look at the First Home Guarantee Scheme, FHGS. The First Home Guarantee Scheme is a new initiative introduced by the Australian Government in 2023 to help first home buyers access home ownership without the need for lender's mortgage insurance. Under the FHGS, eligible first home buyers can access up to 95% lending without paying mortgage insurance, effectively reducing the upfront cost of purchasing a home. To be eligible for the FHGS, you must be an Australian citizen, a permanent resident, a first home buyer, and you have to have a taxable income of no more than $125,000 if you're single or $200,000 if you're a couple. The purchase price of the property must also be under the cap for your location, which in New South Wales is currently $900,000. Now, an example, on a $650,000 home, a first home buyer could access up to 95% lending without paying for mortgage insurance, effectively reducing the deposit required to $32,500. This means that the buyer would have saved approximately $17,000 by not having to pay mortgage insurance based on a 5% deposit requirement. Next is the First Homeowner Grant, which is also called FOG. The First Homeowner Grant is a one-off payment to the first home buyer designed to help offset the cost of purchasing a property. The grant is available to first home buyers who purchase or build a new home and is not available for established homes. Just remember that. In New South Wales, the First Home Buyer Grant is currently $10,000 to first home buyers purchasing a new home under $600,000. For new homes between $600,000 and $750,000, the grant reduces on a sliding scale, like pro rata. For example, a first home buyer purchasing a new home for $650,000 in New South Wales could be eligible for the full FOG of $10,000, provided they meet all eligible criteria. Now, next is the stamp duty exemption and concessions. Stamp duty is a tax paid by home buyers when purchasing a property. However, first home buyers in Australia may be eligible for exemptions or concessions on stamp duty, depending on their circumstances and the state in which they purchased their property. In New South Wales, the first home buyers are eligible for a stamp duty exemption on properties valued up to $800,000. And a concession on properties valued between $800,000 and $1 million. For example, on a $650,000 property in New South Wales, a first home buyer could save approximately $24,000 by being eligible for stamp duty exemption. And also, when you buy under $650,000 in New South Wales, all stamp duty is exempted. Now, this is for my Victorian friends. So the Victorian Homebuyer Fund. The Victorian Homebuyer Fund is a new initiative introduced by the Victorian Government in 2023 to help first home buyers to purchase a home in Victoria. The scheme offers eligible applicants a grant up to $20,000 to put towards the deposit or upfront cost when purchasing their first home. To be eligible for the Victorian Homebuyer Fund, you must be a first home buyer, you must be obviously in Victoria, have a taxable income of less than $125,000 for singles or $200,000 for couples, and be purchasing a new or established home valued at no more than $750,000 in the Metro Melbourne area or $550,000 in regional Victoria. For example, if you are single and you're a first home buyer in Victoria, purchasing a new home for $650,000, you could be eligible for $20,000 grant from the Victorian Homebuyer Fund. This would effectively reduce your deposit requirement from $65,000 to $45,000.
$40,000! I'm rich.
Now lastly is the Victorian Government Shared Equity Scheme, which is really new at the moment. The Victorian Government Shared Equity Scheme is another initiative that helps first home buyers purchase a home in Victoria. The scheme allows eligible applicants to purchase a home in partnership with the Victorian Government, which shares the ownership of the property and provide financial assistance towards the purchase price. Under the scheme, the Victorian Government can provide up to 25% of the purchase price of the property as a loan, which does not require any interest payments or repayments until the property is sold. The remaining 75% is provided by the purchaser who owns and occupies the property. For example, if you are a single first home buyer in Victoria purchasing a new home, for example, $650,000, you will be eligible for a maximum of 25% loan from the Victorian Government Shared Equity Scheme. This means $162,500 sponsored by the government. This would effectively reduce your deposit requirement from $65,000 to $32,500, and the Victorian Government's share in the property would be 25% or $162,500, and you would owe the remaining 75% or $487,500. In conclusion, if you are a first home buyer in Australia, there are numerous government initiatives and grants available to you that could help make purchasing your first home more affordable and easy. The First Home Loan Deposit Scheme, the First Home Loan Guarantee Scheme, two initiatives that can help reduce the upfront costs, while the First Home Owner's Grant and the Stamp Duty Exemption can help offset the overall cost of purchasing a property. Additionally, the Victorian Homebuyer Fund and the Victorian Government Shared Equity Scheme offers further assistance for first home buyers in Victoria, my Victorian peeps. And again, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification button because I would release more videos like this every single week. And again, by taking advantage of these initiatives and grants, eligible individuals like yourself can potentially save tens and thousands of dollars, making home ownership more achievable than ever before. Until next time, keep calm and mortgage on.